Hi there, it's Donna from Taffy Crafting, and today's YouTube tutorial is part of the Stamp Around UK YouTube hop. So you may have clicked on a link and that's how you've come here, or you may have just stumbled upon me accidentally, or you might have clicked from my link in my blog. Whatever way you have come across me, hello and welcome to Taffy Crafting if this is the first time. So this is part of a video hop, a YouTube hop with the crafters in the Stamp Around UK group. In the description bar is a list of all of the crafters in there. Please go and click on their links. Everybody always ends up making something completely different, and the theme for November is geometric. And this is why this is as geometric as I could get. I've made some squares out of Heartwarming Hugs DSP. It's sort of lots of lovely greens, nice Christmas greens, but it's not obviously Christmas. So, I think you could use this perhaps any time of the year for people who like red and green. So we've got this, which has got the darker green, the lighter green, and some red and white. On the back of that, which I'm not using, I'm not a lover of using stripes. I end up just going a little bit cross-eyed. So I've got some squares for this. These are 1 3/4 inch squares. So I picked that design. And I picked that design as well. Now I was going to do this in all one DSP, but I decided against it because it was just way too much on the eye. So I then split it. So I've used this as well, same DSP from Heartwarming Hugs. I wanted to use that as well, didn't have enough, which is a real shame because that looked gorgeous with that. So had to change that up a little bit. So I've got some of them as well. I can't remember exactly how many we need. I think I used all of these, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 9 of those. I've got some little scrap bits. You'll see why I need those in a minute. And they are 3/4 of an inch wide and about almost an inch. No kind of scientific reason for that measurement. They are just literally scraps, and you will see why. These, I didn't use all of these. I think I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't use all of those though, but there's 7 of those. I've got a piece of black. I like using black in cards. I like the contrast, but you don't have to. You could pick out one of these greens, or maybe you could pick out a red, entirely up to you. But that card base measures 5 7/8 by 11 3/4. And I've just scored down the middle at 5 7/8, and that's my card base. I've then cut out a piece of Whisper White cardstock that measures 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and that's the base that I'm going to put my squares on. So I've also marked the centre of this just by doing 2 small lines using my ruler like this. And to find the centre of that card, just a small line there and then a small line there, and where they cross is the centre. And I can't remember what I started off with, one of these. And did I start off with that in the middle? I now can't remember what I started off with in the middle. It doesn't matter. But I need that. Hang on. I need to remember what I did. This is roughly how I'm going to do all of it. Yes, that's right, because then I've got the red in there. There we are. So the green I'm going to put in the middle, as best in the middle as I can. And I'm going to stick everything down with wet glue. So you need to be aware of roughly where you're going to put everything. So I have already had a play with these. So this is what I did. So I started off with that in the middle, and then we're just putting one of these either side. So this is where the geometric theme comes. And then in between all of those, I then put one of these. So you can see that doing all the same design was not going to work. It just would have been too much. Nice to have all the white either side of it, but it just still didn't work. So it needed 2 designs. So they go on there like that. And then these bits, you'll see in a minute how I'm going to trim these off. these bits then are just put each one in there like that. So it's just a case of building it up. So let's take all of these off and get building. Now you could do this as well if you wanted to with circles. You could try perhaps like what I call a squashed diamond shape. There's probably a technical word for that. I can't remember what it is, but I'm going with squashed diamond. Works for me. Now, I need to be quick with this because I'm going to glue this down, but very, very quickly, just make sure I've got it central. And it needs to be about 4 centimetres either side, and I have got to be quick. I've already given this a little test. I'm quite happy with that. Yep, let's go with that. If you're a little bit off, it doesn't matter. No one is going to get their ruler out after they've received this card from you and start checking if you've got it central. Once you've got that on there, you're good to go. You just need to make sure that as you start to put these down, that you've got an equal space between all of your squares, and then you just go from there. So these papers come from the Stamping Up Autumn Winter 2020 catalogue, and there are Christmas papers and autumn papers as well. Now, if this is the first time that you've come across me, if you have a look through my other videos, you will see that I've used already quite a lot of these papers. There's a few that I haven't used yet. So Toil Tidings, I've not used that yet. And I think Brightly Gleaming, I haven't used that yet this year. We did have that out last year, and then they've brought it out again. Now I'll have a blog post that goes with this project with all of the measurements that you need. So if you get to the end of this and think, what measurements did she say? Just go on to my blog post. I've left a link for that in the description bar underneath the list of the other crafters in this hop. But you can find me at taffycrafting.blogspot.co.uk. If you've not crafted before, if you've never made a card before, no reason why you couldn't do this one. It's just a case of creating some squares. And if you're thinking, well, how did you cut all of that up? I'm going to show you. Let me just put this last square here. I cut everything using my paper trimmer. It scores with this and it cuts with this. Super accurate every time. So it's a good basic tool to start off with. Right, the next thing I'm going to do is then slot these in and then just press that down once I'm sure that the distance between, you know, the white that we've got in between is the same on each side. But don't be careful where you're gluing, because it's just going to go straight onto your backing paper there. So just be prepared for that. It's difficult to get it exact. I'm just going to push that down there. Whoops, it's the thing with wet glue, it does stay a bit slippy, and then that's it, it's stuck and won't move. So just, rather than pushing this down here, so it's probably got glue on the back of it, just press it down to there. And then I'm going to go all the way around. Oh, done that all over, so that's going to squish on my paper. Got carried away there. Just take your time with this bit, just to make sure you've got that equal distance. You'll never get it exact, but you'll get as near as you possibly could. Right, let's see if I can do this correctly this time. Just do half of this. So not exactly a quick card. If you're going to send this as a Christmas card or use regular paper for an ordinary birthday card. Not something that you're going to do in a hurry. But if this is for somebody special, then that's a nice thing to do. But it's the sort of thing as well I think you would get on a production line. So cut out all your card bases first. Cut out all your squares, and then away you go. So now these I'm going to put there. So I'm just going to leave that top corner. Probably going to put that there. It is going to get sticky. Yeah. We can always squeeze in a bit of glue if we've got a bit missing. So it's currently Sunday when I'm doing this. It's a very nice thing to do on a Sunday afternoon. The clocks went back last night rather, so kind of feel that you've woken up really early. I've already made a mistake. I tried to put on dinner, was trying to time it, thinking that it was 3:10, and it was actually 2:10. I would have been sat there waiting for people to come and sit down to dinner and realising that I was an hour early. Then just one more of those. I got this idea from Pinterest. I don't know who originally designed it, but there is somebody on Pinterest. Their page is called Jazzle. No, not Jazzle, Zazzle. That's what they're called. There was no watermark on this, and I've been all over Pinterest. I can't see who originally designed this, but that's where I got my inspiration from. So I've just put little spots of glue here, and I'm just going to pop that on there like that. That's going to be the safest way of doing that and not get covered in glue. So just these, I think they need to be filled in. I did look at it and think, would I not fit it in? It just needs to be complete. I think it would look like there was something missing. So I decided that I would fill this in. So don't throw away your scraps when you're cutting down your DSP. Keep hold of them because you can just cut them up and I put a little bit too much glue there. Cut them up and just use them for these little spaces. Made a bit of a muck up of that. Too much glue on that. This glue does dry clear though. You just literally need a dot there like that. I'd like to be able to push this up so you can see it, but it is stuck now to the paper. There's so much glue going on. But what I'm doing down here is just exactly what I did, just on the sides there. There's 2 more, no, 3 more to fill in. Gosh, this bit takes ages. But it'll be worth it. It really will be worth it. So when all of these are stuck on, I would suggest that you just give it a few minutes for the glue to set. You don't then just want to be ripping this up, and it just then tears everything off the card. One more. Probably quite tedious to watch in real time. So there are all our pieces. Now just while I'm just waiting for that to dry, what I'm thinking of doing is putting just a sentiment in the middle, and I'm just going to keep it really nice and simple. And I'm just going to use some, I think for now, just going to use some of this scrap Whisper White cardstock. But what I need to do is decide what colour I'm going to stamp it, and I think the green really stands out on here, so I think I'm going to stamp it in red. So I need to find my real red ink, just over the other side of my room. And we need a Christmas sentiment as well. And I did have a stamp set out, so I've already used this today, and seeing as it's already out, I'm going to use this, and this is probably one of my favourite Christmas sentiments. So we're going to have that. And I need a block. And what I'm going to do is stamp on my paper here. I'm not moving this yet. Stamp on my paper here. And just stamp it in real red, and then decide what I'm going to punch it out in. Sorry about the table wobbling, making everything else wobble. Right, I'm just going to put that right in the middle of that. Right, I need to decide what to punch that out in, and I don't want anything too big, and it may be, I don't know, I haven't decided. I'll have a think about that. Right, we need to lift this, and I need to find a bit that's not stuck to the paper. Oh, this is proper stuck to the paper. Come on, up you come. That one is proper stuck. It's just the paper underneath that's ripped. So what I now want to do is trim that. And I want a big pair of scissors. And I'm just going to trim right up to the edge of that white paper. Now, I would recommend that you wait until this glue has gone right off. It's not moving, but those smaller bits of paper run the risk of coming off. But I'm going to carry on. We might be all right. But if I wasn't doing this for a video, and I did have time to put it down for half an hour, I would, and let it just go right off. And then after this as well, clean your scissors up because they're getting really gummed up. Oh, I've just had a sneak peek of what it looks like on the other side. Love it. And there we go. And that's a bit sticky. What I'm going to do is get rid of that. Right, that's that in the bin. So there's the card, that's the base layer, and there's the card base. And I just love the contrast of the black. Not everybody does, you know, it's just one of those things, you like it or you don't, but I do like a black contrast. Now I've got to decide what to do with this. And I think, I'm just wondering if I need something oval just to completely offset against that. I've got a punch over here which might do it. Got all sorts of things that might do it. So I've got the tailor tag punch, but I'm hoping it's not going to take too much of this off, but we'll see how we go. Just line that up and then punch it out. That works beautifully, absolutely beautifully. And I need some dimensionals, which I do have on my desk over there. I'm She's got mini dimensionals for this, but I think regular dimensionals would be better. But I very rarely use those. Now what I will do is line the inside of the card with some white paper. Just glue that down just so that I can write a sentiment. That'll be the last thing that I would do on this card. Can't get this backing paper off. And then just find the middle there. And pop that down like that. So there is my geometric card. I'm really pleased how that came out. That was literally just some papers that I was mucking about with. I haven't stuck it down. I haven't stuck it down to the card. Oh dear. It's me thinking I'm finished. When I first saw the theme geometric, I thought, oh no, what am I going to do with that? And actually, for once, I've been able to get ahead of the game. I'm actually filming this on the 25th of October. That's unlike me. So carefully, if I hadn't have already put that sentiment on, I would have been properly smooshing that down. So I'm just going to get my bone folder there and just very, very carefully flatten that. There is my geometric card. Really chuffed with that. I hope you like it. I hope that inspires you to get all geometric. And don't forget to pop along to the next person in the YouTube hop. The links are in the description bar. I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.